Okay.
Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. We are sitting here and we kind of sat down and went over like all the numbers for.
No, we're not gonna do that. Wait till people.
Yeah, we're going to do it a little bit later. But one of the things we wanted to come on and talk about was the Pennsylvania trip. We started putting all the numbers together because we really, when we were doing the videos, I had so much to list. We just
hold on. Just wait till we get.
We
some
really
people in
couldn't do all that. So
yeah, let's wait till we get some people in here.
all right.
And then we'll start it because we're starting a little bit early.
Hmm.
We just kind of want to see who's gonna pop in and say hello. So once we get a few people in here, then we'll talk about it. So,
Now, how do you see that? Like, how do you know what that is?
how do I know what is?
Like, you can see.
Well, I think there's two people up there. If I look at that right there.
Okay, see, I
those
don't.
little
Yeah,
numbers?
I didn't know how you knew all that.
I
So,
don't know. There's Peggy. Hey,
hi, Peggy. I was looking. I didn't realize that was
Hey,
even,
Mary.
that was even up there. So for me, that was
Yeah.
Hi. So we are. So one of the reasons for tonight's video, and I'll give you guys a quick little update, is we hadn't been able to go over all of the Pennsylvania items because it took me so long to list everything that I didn't have an idea of.
Hi, Sarah.
The profits and all of that. So
we'll get into it in a minute.
We're gonna
let a few people get in here.
Yeah,
and then we'll jump into some stuff. Obviously, Sharon's feeling better.
Yes.
So
the COVID has left my body, so I'm very happy about that. And this is the second time we have gone on vacation, and I have come home with COVID. So I'm very happy to not have that. And I told Carl I don't want to go on vacation for a while, so he kind of laughs, but he kind of understands too.
Yeah,
so.
she has way more of a tough time with it than I do.
Yeah.
Hey, Sarah's in Norfolk.
Hi, Sarah. Carl goes to Norfolk every day, Monday through Friday.
Yep.
That's his travel path.
That's my new routine for a while.
Yep. So that, and I'm excited to go over all of those numbers so that everybody gets to see that.
The traffic is not bad. I'm usually there. I usually get down to the base about 5:15, 5:30 in the morning, so that part's not bad. And coming home is just, with the HRBT, that's just a crapshoot. I've only had one. It took me like an hour and a half. Not this Friday that just passed, but the Friday before that. So, but you just never know with the HRBT. So,
yeah,
roll those dice and see what happens.
And if we do have the air conditioner on in here, so if it's loud, just let us know. I think I've had enough of summer, so I feel like I've been stuck in the house a lot this year. So I guess I'm kind of over all the heat because I just haven't really gone outside much.
So we do have it open up for questions, comments.
Yeah.
I hope you guys like the little. We did a little bit of live shows while we were out, kind of just kind of little short stuff on Instagram, and I think we did some on YouTube too. They were just little short videos. We went up to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and we got to see the guy that he was their town Santa, and he had his own little Christmas shop, and so we got to do that. We had a lot of we had some time up in Boston. Sharon did some shopping up there, but the shopping up there in Massachusetts was not good, but her son lives up there. So we got to see him and hang out with him for a while. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah. We went up to Massachusetts, and then after a couple days, we went down and we spent about 4 days in Pennsylvania, and we got to stay at the Normandy Farms. That's in Bell. Is it Bell, Pennsylvania? Bluebell, Pennsylvania. Beautiful hotel. I loved it. We had a great time. And that's basically where we spent most of our time shopping, was in those areas. And we really got to hit some great sales. I mean, it's just a lot more to go to in that area than what we even get here. And here, basically 4 weekends in a row, it rained. So we were definitely ready to get out and be able to go and shop and buy. So
Sharon got to
it was
go.
nice.
She got to hit the Yankee Candle Fleet store or whatever it is in Deerfield, Massachusetts. It's like
Yes.
their main hub.
It's their
So
it's the only flagship. It's the
flagship.
flagship
That's what I
store,
was. Yeah.
and we used to have one here in Williamsburg that was like it, but it's now the one in Massachusetts is the only one left. So if you haven't had a chance to go see that store, you got to go see that store. I thought they did an incredible job. It was great. So we spent a while there, and we bought a few things and took lots of pictures. We were complete and total tourists in the shop, and it was raining that day, and there weren't that many people in there, so we kind of got to go see everything.
Sarah said she loves the videos while we were on vacation. The high-end clothing pickups were amazing. Oh yeah, those were crazy.
Yeah, wait till you see some of the numbers. That's what we were working on today, was trying to come up with the numbers. And it's a lot. It was surprising to us.
Hi, Nikki.
How much we bought. And I think the surprising part to me is when we figured out my total spent over that vacation, how much I spent buying things. I didn't spend a lot, and it was surprising. So
so we had to do things a little differently because when we got back, Sharon was sick.
Yeah.
So she didn't do like recaps at the end of the videos. Normally we lay things out and say, this is what we got.
I was too sick.
And this is how much we paid for it and stuff like that. But I mean, she was so just wiped out. We couldn't even do any of that stuff. So we had like 12 of those big 27-gallon totes from Lowe's. Mm-hmm. We had the whole truck stacked up and just strapped into place. Plus the whole back seat was full of stuff. And yeah, so she didn't get to do her typical recap of the video. So when we put the videos, when I put the videos together, she was so sick. She was still trying to list stuff just to get it listed. So we didn't mess up our eBay store. And then it worked out okay. But the videos they were a little lagging, but it is what it is.
He had to do all the work. I basically would wake up in the middle of the night for a couple of hours and would list, and then I'd go back to sleep. And it was random. It was completely random for days. He had to do all the shipping. He did all the shipping videos. He did all the drop off or whatever needed to go out. Because by the time we got home, he was already feeling better, and I was just starting to get sick. So we had about a 4-day, lag time.
I really wasn't down hard at all. I mean, I was just didn't really feel good for like 3 days. And then I was feeling better, but she was wiped out. She had no voice, couldn't talk. So we couldn't do any, hey, check out this cool stuff that we found, because you guys wouldn't have been able to hear.
Nope. But I was glad it was nice to have it gone. So.
All right, so we're going to go over a little bit of these numbers. Now, these are extremely rough numbers. Sharon did keep a lot of the things that she bought at some of those places.
Yeah, I would definitely say out of the clothing, I did keep quite a few pieces for myself.
So right now, the way the numbers lay out is we totaled up 185 items. Now, sometimes things may be grouped together, like if they're the same kind of thing. So if we had like 3 things that were kind of the same and they were grouped together, we counted that as an item. Mm-hmm. So even though it was 3 separate things, we counted it as an item. Yeah. So basically between what we have currently listed, and what we have sold, we came up with 185 items. We think that's probably closer to 250 with the things that she kept, and if you break everything apart.
And there were pieces that when I got them home and I looked them over, if they had damage on them, because when I was shoveling things into the bag, I wasn't necessarily, you saw me, I wasn't necessarily really checking things. So when we got home, there were things that had, like, if it had a hole in it or
a stain that wouldn't come out.
Yeah. I had a couple of things. And also too, is when I got home, I noticed I had a couple of pieces that were light colored. They must've been like rubbing against something dark colored, because they would have like a dark spot on them and this and that. So, there was some pieces that were damaged when I got home.
So of that rough number of 185, We have 127 things listed, and we've sold 58 things so far. And our cost of goods to buy everything when we were there, and that includes her. Some of the videos you don't see her shopping in like some of the Goodwills because they just weren't that great. The one in Pennsylvania was really good, and there was another little thrift store in Pennsylvania. I don't know if you guys saw that one or not. Anyways, so for the 185 items that we have listed or sold already, our cost of goods for everything was $520. I mean, it was next to nothing compared to what we got.
Yeah.
And we've already sold 58 items, and those have basically come in for a total of about $2,200 in gross sales. So that doesn't count for that $2,200 doesn't account for taxes, eBay fees, shipping, none of that stuff. And it doesn't. I didn't take the cost of goods out of it. And then the stuff that we have listed, we have 127 items listed for gross sales of $4,590. Again, that's gross, so that doesn't count the taxes and the fees and the shipping and all that stuff. So for the $520 that we invested, we'll get back gross probably around $6,800. And then we figure probably about, if you take between 35 and 40% of that, usually is a rough good number for us average. That usually covers, that's like the fees and everything is about 35 to 40%. That covers fees, shipping, plus the cost of goods out of it. So yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, Pennsylvania's always been good to us when we go shopping there. She just finds crazy sales, and some of those sales we use the yard sale treasure map app for a lot of it, but she also went on like Marketplace and found some stuff. So we found stuff driving up and driving back.
Yeah.
So we were buying things the whole time.
Yeah.
And then there was a couple of times where we were just driving around going to a place on the app, and we just saw another sign that said, "Hey, yard sale this way," or estate sale or whatever. So we went and did that.
And yesterday too, we went out yesterday, and I don't know when that video is going to be coming out, but we had a really good estate sale yesterday, and it was run by the family, and I got a lot of stuff. I'm to the point where it was really hot, and I was in the garage because they didn't go through any of the boxes in the garage or anything. And so when you get to see that video, you'll see what I'm talking about. But so, I'm pulling all the holiday boxes, off of the walls and opening them. And, they said, yeah, please. And I was just handing Carl a box here. I'll take it. I'll take it. So that's going to be, my camera died in the garage at some point. It was really hot though too. And the camera was hot. So, but yeah, that's going to be a good long video because, I was there a long time grabbing stuff.
And the funny part about it is the lady that was doing the sale, she was just helping out that family because they know them. So when we walked in, her son was standing there with her, and her son's girlfriend is our old dog sitter. So we were like, hey, what's going on? We haven't seen her. She hasn't, she used to babysit our dogs when, probably like 2 years ago, but we haven't seen her around. She's been doing other things, and
she's getting older.
Yeah. So she's, maturing and moving on to bigger and better things. So that was kind of funny. So we had a good time talking with her.
Yeah. And they gave us such good prices. There is an incredible, in fact, Carl, I was trying to talk Carl into let me keep it, but there's this incredible crewel needle point embroidery picture that I picked up. It's huge. And it's so well done. I was like, oh, I want to keep it. But Carl's like, Sharon. But yeah, it's hard when you find stuff that you like at all these sales not to keep things. So yeah, there's going to be a beautiful crewel embroidery piece of probably 30, 40 years old that will be going into my eBay store, and it's large. But I picked that up yesterday, and it's beautiful. That whole house was full of wonderful handmade things. The woman that had lived there, she was talented, and she made a lot of beautiful things. And
apparently that piece is kind of rare.
Yeah, you don't see it that often. It's big. It's big. I mean, for a crewel, embroidery type of piece. It's a good size piece. So I got to figure all that out. But yeah, that one's sitting down in the garage. I got a beautiful stained glass lamp. Also that we dropped that off. We actually, because I didn't want to bring everything in and I had like a lot of big pieces, we grabbed a lot of things and they went straight over to the antique mall today when we were here, because I just put a price tag on them in the garage and then right into the car and then off to the antique mall. So it was kind of a twofold that I was able to move the stuff and not have to bring it all in the house.
Yeah, we've been trying to get some stuff over there and get it,
Yeah.
Get it priced and get it over there and get it dropped off so we can just get it out from underneath our feet.
Yeah, all the Halloween stuff is going into the antique booth now, because now is usually the time that I start doing that. Middle of August, end of August is when I start moving the Halloween in, because it's the Halloween stuff goes really quickly. When I start to put that into the antique mall, it moves pretty quickly. So I usually try to get it in towards the middle to end of August. Yeah, so that's what I've been working on. And listing all the stuff that when we were on vacation, it literally took me a week. It took me a full week to get all that listed. Not just being sick, but it took me that long. I mean, Carl kept bringing tubs upstairs, and I was like, I'd open a tub and I'd go, oh, and then I'd have to go through everything and check for damage and clean whatever shoes needed to be cleaned and all that. And thank you to the people that have been buying. I know a lot of those pieces, like the Johnny was and the Piccolinos, a lot of that is flying because people saw the video and then were like, okay, yeah, I want that piece. And
I think that helped when we got back, we did that little live video in the living room where she was showing you all the stuff that we got before we listed it, because we figured you guys want, if you want it, you're going to probably want to get first dibs at it. So the easiest way to do that was show you what we were going to have and then just let you know, hey, this is going to be listed over the next couple of days. So make sure you keep checking with us.
I'm pretty sure she's a viewer, but there's a lady in Kentucky that she bought a lot of pieces, and I know she had to have seen them. So I do think she's a viewer, because she picked up a lot of the pieces, and she did it over like a couple of days. So I figure she had to have known what she was getting. And
yeah, viewer sales are the best.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
It's so weird to us. Like, we're talking to like the entire internet right now. And, for anybody that wants to look and join in and how you guys just like follow us around and, just watch the things that we do. It's just, it's just really, it's mind blowing.
For someone like me, I don't, it's still not wrapped in my head that, when I'm at sales now, people will say something to me. I don't have my glasses on yet. I can't.
Oh, Monica says, I trust your instinct on the pieces you get, so I'm a proud repeat customer.
Oh, thank you. Are you the Kentucky girl? I don't have my glasses on, so whatever Carl is
your glasses are right there.
Whatever Carl is looking at, I can't see.
Right there. No, Monica's in PA.
Okay, good. She's in PA. Okay.
Oh, we were just in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Shopping up there. You get some great sales up there.
Yeah, we were talking about where we stayed. I loved it. We stayed at the Normandy Farm in Bluebell, Pennsylvania. And we stayed there, I think, 4 nights: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, kind of near King of Prussia area.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was
so fun.
Definitely.
Basically, we were there like Wednesday, right? Wednesday, Thursday.
Tuesday night.
Oh yeah, Tuesday night. Yeah. So like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there was really nothing going on. So we just kind of messed around and, we tried to check out some of the Goodwills there, but it was just a bunch of junk. It wasn't even worth even like looking at. So we decided we were just going to do other things. So, we took the time since we were kind of on vacation, but working at the same time, we couldn't really work on those days because there really wasn't anything for us to do. We couldn't list while we're on the road. So, that's why we decided to take a trip up to Bethlehem and then we went, where else did we go?
Well, we spent some time in Massachusetts, but when we were in Pennsylvania, basically we hit thrift stores. I have a favorite thrift store there.
Yeah.
that we always go to when we're in Pennsylvania. And then, we really didn't work as hard as we like normally do or go as much. We kind of would just stop. We spent a lot of time at the hotel. We would eat at the restaurant, and they had a pool and a hot tub. And
Yeah, that one. Yeah, there was one Goodwill that we like there, but it's not. It's like we call it the Children of the Corn Goodwill because it is literally in the middle of a cornfield. So I don't know how it got there or what they were thinking, but it is always just packed with awesome things.
yeah.
So and their prices are just cheap compared to what we have around here. So and then there's another little
Carl, I hope you didn't lose that video because he hadn't put it out and he was asking me about it. But they have an elevator in that Goodwill, and because it's an old one. And in order to take your cart downstairs to the basement where all the hard goods are, you have to get in this elevator. So the lady's all, yeah, just take the elevator. And I'm looking at her like she's crazy because I knew I couldn't get my cart down the stairs. So I'm like, how do I get down there with my cart? She's like, take the elevator. And she's like, just open it, close the screen. And it's an old elevator. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to get stuck in this elevator at this Goodwill. And sure enough, it only fits one person and a cart. And I get so up and down in the elevator. I come out of the elevator. I come out and Carl's standing there. I'm like, I took the elevator. So it was definitely kind of a different, a different thing. But yeah, that's how you get downstairs to go to the basement. So
Yep, and then there's another little thrift store down there. It's I think it's like a church run one or something like that.
It is a church run one, yeah.
But they always have good stuff too. So we like going to those two little places. It's we always get something there, and it's not like it's not really out of the way or anything for us. So it's like I think it was like an hour drive away from the hotel, if that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we definitely it's funny because I would say the busiest 2 days for us were Friday and Saturday. Yeah. Those were those out of all the time we spent in Pennsylvania, we kind of just enjoyed ourselves. And then Friday and Saturday, it was like, okay, let's go. And we were running fast.
When did we hit that estate sale?
Saturday on our way out.
Did we leave Saturday or did we leave Sunday? No, we left Saturday.
Yeah, we left Saturday.
Yeah, that estate sale was crazy. So that guy, it was that estate sale where you saw with her getting all the clothes and everything from the high end stuff, that big house. We thought, somebody had passed away, but no, they just moved. They had another whole house full of clothes and furniture and everything in Florida. And they decided, well, they were just going to Florida. So they just left all that stuff there and just left.
And
so
that's not the first, and believe it or not, that's not the first time we've seen that happen. We went to a sale like that when we were in California, and they had another home. They literally just picked up and left.
Yep. So that's it. And the guy that was running it was him and his wife, and they actually had an estate sale company in 3 different states. They had stuff. I think they had one in Florida and one in Texas, and then they had the one in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So I mean, they were busy, but I was kind of helping them out a little bit because I wasn't really shopping in there because it was all clothes and stuff, and that I don't know anything about. So there was some people in line down there, some ladies, and they were getting some like big pieces of furniture and mirrors and things like that. So I just kind of like helped them out, loaded stuff in, because he gave us a really good deal. The first load of stuff that we took downstairs, we figured, okay, this is pretty much going to be our budget for this. And he just comes over to the table, and the hold table where we have this like huge pile of stuff. He's like, how about $50? We're like, okay, we'll give you $50 for it. And then Sharon's like, I got to go back for some more. So she decided to go back, and I think she went back 2 or 3 more times.
I found a closet I did not even know was there.
So anyways, I was helping him load stuff and move stuff around, and he didn't ask for the help, but I mean, I was just standing around doing nothing. So I was like, well, here, let me help you with this stuff. So then when Sharon would come back down again with another pile of stuff, he would be like, what did I charge you last time? And we're like, $50. He's like, okay, $50 again. And his wife was just looking at him like, what? And he was like, nope, $50. Here, take the cash. And then the last time we went down, he was outside doing something, and the wife, she started totaling up the pile, and it was getting pretty high. And so we were going to pay it. I mean, it didn't really matter, but I'm just saying she was counting every little thing. And then he comes back in. He's like, nope, $60. They're helping me out. $60. Just give it to him for $60. And his wife looked at him. She's like, okay. So yeah, that was
Yeah.
pretty funny.
Yeah, it was just good timing. And we got wine.
Yes, they
So
had that house. The people that left 35 cases
yeah.
of Napa Valley wine, and they couldn't sell it. So they were like, if you spend $50, you get a bottle of wine. So we got like 2 or 3 bottles of wine to take home too.
It was
It was crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny that, once in a while you hit, he usually not with estate sales, like companies. I don't think I've ever had an estate sale company do what they did. I mean, it just,
I think they had been there. So that was one that we found, but we didn't realize it was the same one. So they actually had they were actually open Thursday night for like 2 hours, like a pre-viewing or whatever. And so I mean, everything would have been like max full price, but you still could have went there and bought stuff. And then Sharon saw that, but we just didn't go because we didn't want to do that. We don't want to go to an estate sale on the first day. But then when we kind of found it on Saturday, we were like, Sharon's like, oh, this is that one that they were doing on Thursday. So I'm like, really? She goes, yeah. So I mean, I think that guy was just kind of over it because he still had to be there the next day too on Sunday. So he was just ready to get stuff out of that house and get going because he had other projects that he was working on.
And the lady that was in the closet with me at that sale too, she went back the next day and she said the piles, everything she got was $40 a pile. So, he had actually even lowered his price, and she said there was so much left. She went back. She's like, there was so much left. And I was like, I'm not surprised. I am not surprised at all that there, I mean, yeah. I mean, if Carl and I would have, wanted to stick around and this and that, I mean, we probably would have filled 5 more tubs, but I'm glad that we kind of just,
we didn't have room for 5 more tubs.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that we just grabbed and that we were gone. It was,
we already looked like the Beverly Hillbillies driving home with a 12 tub strapped in the back of our truck.
Yeah, but that was okay though. I mean, it's, like I said, usually with estate sales, you don't hit them. They're not like that. So.
Oh, Monica, you went to that one, right? She said, I wasn't even going to go to that sale because it looked out of my league, but they were very generous with their prices. So she must have been in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
She was probably the one that mentioned that she went back the next day.
Yeah, that's probably, yeah.
She went back the next day because, I mean, yeah, if I would have lived locally, I would have gone back the next day too. Like I said, I found that closet that I didn't even know was there.
She said, that was me.
Yeah. I mean, I ended up in a closet that I didn't even hit the first 2 or 3 times I was there. So it was good. That was a really good sale. And
I'm sure we probably would have gotten more stuff because we didn't even realize it, at the prices that they had had a bunch of stuff listed on the walls and stuff, like they had papers up and, boots were like $30 or whatever. But they didn't follow that pricing at all, especially the husband. He was like, nope, just take it. So, when we got there, we walked into one of those rooms with all the clothes in it, and some dude was walking out with this like gigantic bag full of stuff. And I was like, that guy just probably walked out of here with a ton of clothes that, she probably would have snagged if we were in there first.
I just think it had to do with, and Monica will tell you, I mean, there's no way that person that lived there knew what was in those closets, because those closets were so packed full of things. A lot of them have brand new tags on them. And I mean, I was just floored. I mean, seriously, they were buying stuff and sticking in a closet and probably just didn't even know where they had put it. It was incredible. It was incredible. I mean, the shoes, it was really nice. Like, I kept a couple pairs of shoes. I kept, I don't think I kept hard. I don't think I kept any of those clothes. Most of them were small, small, small. So I don't think I kept any of the clothes, but I did keep a couple pairs of the shoes because the shoes were all my size. But I had kept clothes from the sale the day before where I had gotten all the clothes, and that's where I kept a lot of. In fact, I got this there. So I did keep some of the things from the day before. I did keep for myself. Um,
And
you
then
know,
we went to that one place. It was an estate sale. That's where Sharon got all the holiday stuff, and that house was just packed with stuff. And they had already
had in this.
toted away
Yeah.
two huge dumpsters full of stuff. The young kid that was there was like there, and he goes, I haven't even got he goes, I've barely made a dent in the stuff that's in the attic. And then the lady that was there, I think it was her husband's mother, so her mother-in-law. Anyways, he was he was maybe not really, I don't think he was ready to get rid of stuff yet, but they had to sell that house. So the wife, she was over it. They had already had another sale, and they didn't, their prices were kind of ridiculously high on some things. And so, you know, they sat there all day for a sale, a few weeks ago, and didn't really sell much. And then when we got there, we started looking through the stuff, and that lady, she was just like, nope, just, I don't care, just make me an offer, make me an offer. And Sharon doesn't like doing that. We don't really like throwing numbers out there first because we don't really want to insult somebody. But at the same time, it's everything's a negotiation. So when we kind of just threw some numbers out, and she was like, yep, just get rid of it, I'm tired of looking at it. And we still have months of work ahead of us, and people are just dragging their feet. So Sharon's like, well, all right. She goes, I'll tell you what, I'll show you how to look up realistic prices of things. So they were looking like on eBay and stuff, but they were looking at just the what's listed prices. And you can ask whatever you want on eBay for something. You could ask $50 for a used sock if you want, and somebody might be dumb enough to buy it, but
Yeah.
you
They
have to go
she
by the sold comps and to kind of see what people are willing to pay for things. So once we started doing that, she didn't even realize that was even a thing. So Sharon kind of said, look, I'll help you out. And the lady's like, okay, I'm gonna I'll work with you on the prices, but can you help us out with some of the other things that we don't know about? So
yeah.
Sharon said, yeah, no, not a problem. So I mean, we weren't in a hurry.
She had a room. She had an aluminum Christmas tree, and obviously I'm a Christmas person, but she had an aluminum Christmas tree in the original box. She knew she was going to price it. She knew it was worth some money, but she really didn't know how much it was going to be worth. And so when I went in there, I went, okay. And I told her exactly what she should ask for it, what it'll sell for, this and that. Just because, like I said, there was a lot of family members, and some of them had a harder time getting rid of things than others, but that was not their first sale. They had that much when I came in. I can't even imagine what it was like for the previous sale. And they had a lot of family members there and not a lot of agreeing on things. So I think it was good that someone else kind of said, look, this is what this is going to go for. This, give her, an idea of what she should ask for things. One, so that she knows, but two, so that she's not being, one, taken advantage of, or two, that the other family members aren't going to be like, oh, you gave that away, or you did this, or you did that,
or that shouldn't have gone, or we wanted to keep it.
Yeah, that was a lot. It was a lot of stuff. That was quite.
We ran into another one of those situations too. They didn't really have much of anything that we wanted, but that dude was in the garage, and it was his mom, and he was just on eBay looking up things left and right and throwing ridiculous prices on things. And I think it was his sister that was there, and she was just like, and his brother was sitting across the yard in a chair under a tree, and he's like, he won't let anything go. So I'm just gonna sit over here and just not be hot. And I was talking to him, and he was cracking me up. Sarah says, "You guys are so awesome, very kind. Thank you for teaching me and everyone new things." Oh, you're welcome. We're by no means experts on anything.
No, a
We
lot of
just
useless information.
yeah.
I have a lot. Carl and I used to go when we years ago. We'd go play trivia all the time, like once or twice a week, because we love to play trivia, and we go to restaurants or bars wherever the trivia was, and we pretty much realized that between the two of us, we had way too much useless information. So
Now Sharon, she has better, like, her information is really not useless when it comes to like shopping, because I've always asked her, like, how do you find stuff? She's like, I just buy what I like. So, and that just works for her. And it seems to be it just seems to work for her. She just buys what she likes, and apparently a lot of other people like it too, because everything she buys pretty much sells. I mean, we'll look some things up every now and then, but most of the time she just rolls in and she's like, yep, I'll take that. I'll take that. Sarah says, I'm coming up and buying y'all lunch.
we definitely I mean, since we started we started the eBay store, it's funny that when you do this, how you like you learn what to buy and what not to buy. And I think a lot of resellers will tell you that, when you start out with things that you own, just so that you're not spending a bunch of money. But after you've been doing this a certain amount of time, you know what you're picking up. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. I don't, if Carl's there, he'll do like electronics. I try not to do electronics. But like yesterday I bought Carl bought a printer. That was literally him just bringing over saying, yep, we're going to take this. It really,
it was an Epson. It was an Epson. No, it was a brother printer. Nice printer. Looked like it was, hardly ever used. They wanted $3 for it. And it consistently sells, it's got a great sell-through rate, consistently sells for like $60-$70. So I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. Hi, Sandy. She says, hi from Canada. Where at in Canada are you?
Oh, we've been all over Canada.
Well, not all over.
What part of Canada do you live in? She's like, I'm typing. Yeah, we're probably due for a Canada trip some point. Carl just became a grandpa for the first time. So he has the very first grandchild.
Yeah, my son and his wife live in Saskatoon.
Mm-hmm.
She's in London, Ontario.
Okay.
Oh, so you're probably like due north of us.
Yeah.
Pretty close. Like if you go straight up, I think if we go north up through New Hampshire and like that, and New York and into Ontario.
Yeah. I don't think, have we been to Ontario? I know we've been to
yes, for like 5 minutes. I think is Niagara Falls on your side in Ontario? I think it is.
Yes, then we did. We drove in. We went to see Niagara Falls when we first moved here, and we drove.
Oh, she's near Detroit. Okay, so you're on the western side.
Okay, yeah.
So I think Niagara Falls on the Canadian side is in Ontario. Anyways, we went up there. We went up there in February. So there were like 4 people looking at Niagara Falls, and it was freezing out, but we loved it. We had a great time.
The Canadian side was really pretty.
And they're like, oh, you got to go to the Canadian side. Just go across that bridge, and then you can check it out. So we like drove across that bridge, and they say in the United States, you hear the falls, and in Canada, you see the falls because of the way it's situated. So we went over and we checked it out. We were literally there like 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. Then we got friggin' interrogated to come back into the country by Border Patrol. I'm like, dang, dude, why are you we just drove across the bridge. You guys told us to come drive across the damn bridge and look at the falls. And now we're trying to come back, and you're giving me 50 questions and giving me all this flack about driving across this dang bridge, trying to get back into the United States. If I'd known it was going to be that much trouble, I would have just stayed. So what else you guys want to talk about? Anything? You got any questions? I did a lot of the shipping while Sharon was down, so I didn't know a lot about some of the stuff that that was what it was. I'm like, okay, here's a pair of shoes, you know.
No, but so we are going to be going back to normal with like our recaps and totals and this and that, with the videos. So now that I'm not sick anymore, we'll go back to normal. And yesterday's, we had a really good haul yesterday, so yesterday's video should be really good. Yeah, we're definitely hitting the dog days of summer. It's still pretty warm here, so
And humid.
yeah. So we'll probably have another month or so of yard sales, and then those will start to die off when it gets colder. But yeah, it's good.
We'll probably have yard sales. I would say probably all the way through the end of October.
Yeah, maybe.
So
yeah, maybe possible.
But then we have to go back to resorting to getting footage and good in our Goodwill. We like our Goodwill. It has good stuff, but it's like a freaking discotheque in there. They play the music so loud, and I know you guys hate it, and we hate it too. So but you just can't please everybody. It's like, oh, your music's too loud, and then we voice over. We want to hear what you're saying. It's like, okay, whatever. So if I put it up there and YouTube doesn't flag it for copyright, sometimes if the music's loud enough and YouTube picks it up, it'll flag it for copyright. So we have to take that part of it out or voice over it for that section. But if I throw it up on YouTube and it says there's no copyright, I just leave it. So unfortunately, that's just the way it is. I don't have enough time to sit there and try to figure out ways to reduce the background noise as much as possible, because it's really hard to do. And Sharon doesn't have enough time to sit there and re-voice over everything. So yeah, Nikki said it seems like all the Goodwills blast their music. That's for sure. Well, there's been a couple here that we went to. Man, it was just like super quiet in there. It was like kind of freaky. They didn't have any music playing or nothing. It was kind of good, but unfortunately Sharon didn't really get anything. There was not really a lot of good stuff to choose from. So
yeah, well, like I said, this video, we wanted to go over some of the numbers from Pennsylvania, let you guys know, what the profits and this and that look like. Cause we didn't do any recaps on any of those videos. Just like I said, by the time we got home, I was out of commission. So, just to give you guys an idea of how some of that went. But I am looking forward to the next couple of videos that will be coming out. And I haven't seen anything from the 100-year-old house. So I know they haven't had an estate sale yet. I know they're probably still trying to figure out the logistics of that, because they have to be careful with people in the house and stuff like that. But
yeah, if they do it through an estate sale company, that estate sale company has to carry insurance in case somebody gets hurt. And Sharon was like, that place was pretty sketchy in some of the areas. So the family's probably going to do it. My guess is they'll probably just try to bring some of the stuff downstairs, or who knows? I'm not really sure.
If they brought the stuff downstairs in that house, they could do it. But the upstairs, there was holes in the floors and stuff like that. So I can't see them allowing people to go upstairs and having somebody get hurt. So maybe if they were able to bring the stuff downstairs, they would alleviate the safety issues. Especially, even the stairs were a little questionable. So I think it'd be smarter just to bring everything down if they could.
Mary says, you do have a great Goodwill you source at. Mine aren't as good. Yeah, we got lucky. I mean, this Goodwill here, we do live in kind of an affluent area, and we're right by William and Mary College. So
yeah, a lot of
a lot of the students go there, and their parents are pretty well off, and they'll just, and the people around here right in Williamsburg, they don't usually have yard sales. They don't want to mess with it. So they'll just donate stuff, or they'll just have somebody come and pick it up. They don't want to mess with that stuff. And I mean, we get some really good stuff. Sharon's found some really, really unique pieces there. And it's all the time. So every time pretty much she goes in there, she gets something good. Sometimes better than others. The Goodwill did change their policy though. Tell them about the coupon or the.
Yeah, there's no more. They don't do the coupon anymore. So like when you used to spend over $15, you got a stamp. And once you got 4 stamps, you got 20% off your purchase. They did away with that completely. But when they did away with it, they went back to normal pricing. They don't mark things up anymore. So if I pick up a pair of shoes, it's $7.99. They are no longer using the high end cabinet up front. So if you find an expensive pair of shoes, it's going to be $7.99. I actually picked up and I haven't listed it yet. I picked up a Donna Karan leather purse. Um, $7.99, and I definitely know that purse should have been marked up if they were going to if they were still doing things the same way. So that's a nice change to see it that way, not just for me, but it's a nice change for somebody that if they go in there and they need school shoes or this and that. That's I would rather see them do that, because they had a lot of items that they marked up and they wouldn't sell. And so they would just sit there and sit there and sit there. So it's nice to see the items moving and changing more frequently. That's what I've noticed, is the items are now changing more frequently, and they're having to replenish more frequently because things are selling faster.
And a lot of people give Goodwill a bad rap, and they're like, oh, they rip people off and they're for profit or whatever. We don't care. So we just go there and shop. They have good stuff. We go there and shop. If we resell it, we resell it. Sharon keeps some stuff when she goes there. Sometimes we find other things there, like, that we'll keep around the house, or, if we have something that was maybe missing something, like a part off of something, and we'll find it there, we'll find another one. And if it's a decent price, we'll just kind of put a couple things together and make one good one out of two missing pieces of ones.
I keep buying myself those tumblers, those drink tumblers, because every time I go in there, I'm like, oh, it's only $3. I should get another tumbler. So now I'm collecting drink tumblers. But
Oh, and another thing too. What's the date today? The 11th. So we have been doing YouTube now for almost a year.
Yeah.
I think we did it because Sharon's birthday is on the 22nd of August.
Yeah.
And I think we started either right before her birthday or right after. So we basically are coming up on our 1-year anniversary of YouTube. And we had no idea what we were getting ourselves into. And, we thought for sure it would be a struggle to get to where we're at by now. It wasn't. We were consistent, and we got through.
I was so uncomfortable with this whole idea when we started. The last thing I wanted to do was be on camera. I didn't like, people would look at me strange and this and that. But now it's just it's completely normal for me to be doing it. And it's funny because even when I don't have the camera on, I am now in the stores talking to myself because I've gotten so used to talking to you guys that even without the camera, I'm still recapping what I'm looking at. It's funny, but so I've gotten used to it. So if you think that this is something you want to try and it's a comfort level and this and that, it gets easier as you go along. I've changed a lot as far as how I feel when I'm doing things. I've changed a lot with my buying habits. So yeah, it definitely is something that you get used to. It's like any job, you get better and it gets easier as long as you keep doing it.
And if you keep doing it long enough, you start to come across the same things. So she's like, oh, I've sold that before. I've sold that before. So she knows it's a good item to pick up. But we do have a storage unit that we keep stuff in, and we have stuff here upstairs. But some people are limited on what you can get. So you have to be kind of picky to get your sales. So you want to make sure that you get things that are going to have a high sell-through rate and sell for a decent amount of money so that it's worth it to you, and then, like I said, sometimes we're out and we'll see things and it's a no-brainer pickup because it's like, oh yeah, we sell that all the time. We'll just grab it. It's kind of neat to see those things over and over again. But over the past year, let's tell them about the over the past year, some of the best things that we've found and sold that just blew us away. So we were in Goodwill one night and I picked up these like little, I saw this little box on the ground. Well, it was on the ground, it was on a shelf. I picked up this box and it was a irrigation timer, brand new in the box. And it's like one of those ones that you hook up outside your house, you put some batteries in it, and you hook it up to your hose bib, and then you run your hose out, like a watering hose or whatever. And then you can program this little thing and with the batteries, and then so if you have like one of those irrigation hoses that has all the little holes in it, that just like I think they call it a soaker hose or something like that, you can program it, and then a couple times a day it'll turn on and soak your flower beds or whatever, and then it'll shut it back off. Well, as I'm walking around, I looked it up and they sold really good. They had a really good sell-through rate. As I'm walking around, I found another one. It was on another shelf on another part of the store, two of them brand new. And I think I paid $5 for both of them. And I sold them within a day for like $90 to the same guy. So that was a pretty good sale.
I as far as like the Goodwill goes and this and that, I mean, I have obviously found some high end purses. That Tory Burch purse I picked up was a really, really good one. And I've done that at both of our thrift stores in town. I've gotten pretty much brand new Tory Burch purses, and those have sold really well. I've also picked up some old stock electronics that were like new old stock, still brand new. I've had a couple of things like that I've picked up. I've picked up just some Christmas items, this and that. I mean, whenever people like ask me about that stuff, I can never remember. Yesterday I picked up a really good item. I picked up it was back in the day, they used to make quilt sets, and they would pre-cut all the little squares and all the fabric and the thread, and then they'd put it in a kit. So I paid like $8, or Carl said you didn't even pay $8 because she bundled everything, but it was brand new. It was to make a quilt, and everything was cut. All the pieces were inside of it. It was a ready to go kit. I paid like $8. It sold within an hour or two, and it sold for $99. Just completely random. You never know, like what you're gonna. I mean, I picked up some candles today that I always pick up candles and I stick them aside because at Christmas, when we give out like neighbors gifts and this and that, I usually will give out like candles and this and that or something like that. And so I was kind of curious because I'd never seen that brand of candle before. Well, I look it up, and the candles are each like $35 a piece, and I'm like, oh, I was kind of surprised because
sorry, neighbor, you're not getting the $35
Carl's like,
candle.
They're not getting $35 candle. Well, anyway, I only paid $3 a candle, but sometimes things just pop up. And
I think our best sale to date, Sharon, when we first started doing this, she went down to Newport News, which is down towards Norfolk area, and she went to this yard sale that this lady was having. It was an older lady. She was probably in her 60s, late 60s. And so she just had a bunch of random stuff that she was cleaning out of her house. Well, one of the things that she had was a bunch of old Barbie dolls and things like that. And they were hers when she was a kid.
mm-hmm.
So Sharon doesn't know anything about Barbie dolls. I certainly don't.
Yeah, Barbie's really is not.
She just like looked at it and she's like, well, for the price, I'm gonna get it and look through it. I'm sure I could probably make some money on it. So, anyways, she gets back and she starts going through this, and there were like 3 little pieces inside this group of clothing and stuff that were just different than the rest of them, and there was 2 little
kimonos,
2 little Japanese kimonos, and they were still in the packages, and this little like a little accessory purse, but it was different looking than any of the other stuff. And doing some research, Sharon realized that those pieces had only ever been released in the Japanese market. They were never released anywhere else. They were only released in Japan
in 1962.
Yeah, and the lady's father was in the military in Japan
mm-hmm.
during that time frame, and that's when he bought them for her. Well, so she paid, after everything averaged out from that sale, she literally paid like $2 each for these things. So she had like $6 into these 3 little pieces. She put them on eBay. A lady in California bought all 3 of them within an hour for $750 for all 3 total.
Yeah, I was at work. I was at the ceramic shop that day, and Carl was home, and the messages kept, and he's like, Sharon, what the hell is going on? What is, because he kept seeing getting messages. He's like, these people are asking for discounts. What are they talking about? And I told Carl, I looked at him, I go, Carl, don't put anything on sale. Just let it ride, let it ride. And the woman that bought everything, that's the first and only time I've ever sent out a package. An 8x6x4 box went out to California
It
for
weighed like
$700 and something dollars, and we had to do a signature requirement. eBay, anything over $300, eBay requires a signature requirement. So we let the lady know, hey, it's going to come with a signature requirement. You're going to have to sign for this. And the lady's like, okay, no problem. But yeah, $700, and it in a tiny little box that went to California.
It weighed like 8 ounces, and we insured it for like 35. The insurance for it was $35. So it was crazy. I was like, oh man, that was just the craziest sale ever.
You
So
never know.
That was probably that's probably one of the best ones that we've had. She's recently found some of those needle points and cross stitch things that just, I mean, she buys them for like $1 and they sell for like $100. So, and they don't linger around. They're usually up on eBay for probably less than, 2 or 3 hours, and they're already sold.
Yeah, it's funny to me that the things that were really popular when I was a child have become so collectible now. Things that were just normal to me, like things that like I still will do even now at my age. And you get those kits. I mean, even right now, I have a piece in the other room. It was the kit. It was in the original bag, but the woman had finished the front of the stocking, but she didn't put it together. But she had finished the needlepoint part of the stocking. So I've got to figure out what to do with it. But I've had things like that before. And when you list them, people will buy them. If you say, look, it's been started, and it's one of the popular ones, they're like, okay, yeah, they'll buy it. I mean, I've sold so many needlepoint kits, in varying stages of completion, because that's what somebody is looking for to finish them. And usually if they buy one and you've got other ones that are similar, they buy those too, because they're going to make them as gifts, and they're going to do all of them together. So those type of, but see, you have to understand, those are things that I like to do. So when I buy things like that, I'm basically buying stuff that if it sells, great. If not, I'm going to keep it and do it for myself. So it's kind of a win-win. I don't ever feel like it's like a bad deal. Like the sale we went to yesterday had so much sewing stuff, so much ribbon, so much, my type of stuff.
Crafting.
It was just, I mean, poor Carl's sitting over there. And I mean, I was there a long time. Like I said, battery went dead. I was in those tubs and in that garage looking through all of that stuff forever.
So we got about 5 minutes left, and then we're gonna head on out. So if you guys got anything you want to talk about.
And thank you so much for joining us. Like I said, I still feel like a fish out of water that people like, come and watch and talk to us about stuff. But it's, now I'm getting to know you. Like when you comment, like I recognize who's commenting to me, and I recognize, if you buy something. So, it's kind of neat for me to get to see that, I mean, my channel's still growing. I don't have a huge channel like some of these other, YouTubers. So, my channel's still growing, and it's good to see that growth, because, I can answer you when you talk to me. Like it's really nice to have that, interaction with people that you don't know. And, I know everybody lives all over the place. So it's nice to see, that interaction with people that, you've never actually met. So.
Yeah, I don't know how, I don't know how big this channel is going to get, but I look at some of these other channels, and they have they'll put a video out and they have thousands of comments. There's no way they can go through. There's just not enough time in the day to go through and answer everybody. So, I hope that, I mean, I want the volume of people, and we want the YouTube time and things like that, because we do make money off of YouTube. We don't make a ton, but
No,
we do
don't
make
a lot.
I mean, but YouTube has, it's they pay you out basically for every 1,000 views that you get. You get what they call what's it called, RPM, revenue per mille, MILLE. So that's French for 1,000. So I mean, that number changes. It goes up and down. And I think right now, I think it's at like $13 or something like that. So for every 1,000 views we get, Sharon makes $13 on it. So, but some of these people, I mean, they make, they have hundreds of thousands, and some of them have millions of views. So, across the span of time, they make a lot of money. But I don't know how they, keep up with the people that are supporting them. I guess at some point you guys will just start talking amongst yourselves, because that's kind of what it seems like in some of those channels. They just, it's like the person that's actually putting the content out and doing stuff, they never say anything back to anybody. And then you look in the comments, and those people are all talking back and forth to each other. Usually it's, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about. And, or, oh, that was a good idea. Or it's just kind of, you just see it all. It's kind of funny and ridiculous at the same time to watch it. So
Carl monitors more of that than I probably do. He's just,
well, I do, because there's some people out there, it's like they got nothing better to do but just be negative on your channel. It's like, you don't know us. So I mean, if you're going to come and drop in on our channel and you're just going to leave some stupid comment, we're going to just block it. I don't care. So if you got something creative to say, or you have a legitimate, unique question, or you just want to say hey, or how's it going, and there's a couple of people that do that on here, and they're just like, well, it's a free country, we can say what we want. Well, yeah, you can, but just because you can doesn't mean you should. So if you don't, if you're there just to stir the pot and cause trouble, we don't even want to deal with people like that. It's easier just to walk away from those people. So, we like the people that come in, they're generally interested in what we have to do, or what Sharon's buying or selling. Sharon does have a good knowledge base for things. I mean, she rattles off some of these names of people and products, and I don't know what she's talking about 99% of the time, but I know it works. So whatever's working, we just go with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
my eBay store still pays the bills.
So we really appreciate, if you're stopping in and you're saying hey, and you're there just to have a good time and checking stuff out, or sometimes you guys will point us in the right direction and say, oh, these are good sellers, you should pick them up. But it's all about how it may or may not sell in your area, or you might have better luck with it than we do. Some things you guys point out to us, we just don't find that they work well for us. So it's not worth, because we are limited on the area where we can store stuff. So we just kind of, we have to be kind of picky. And some people talk about that. Oh, you're too picky. You need to buy it all. Well, where am I going to put it? So it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, Carl always goes through that thing where he's like, quit buying glass.
Yeah. Stop buying coffee mugs. Stop buying glass.
That means I'm running out of room. But
yeah. Yeah, that means we're running out of storage space on the shelves. So, all right. Well, I think
thank you everyone for tuning in. And like I said, the videos are going to go back to normal.
You can see Otis back there. He's tired. Yeah, he's ready to go to bed.
Otis is ready to go to bed. And thank you so much. I really appreciate everybody that watches and the people that have been, buying stuff from the eBay store. Thank you so much for supporting me. And like I said, I never thought I could do this. And I'm learning that it's not so bad, and it's going pretty good. So thank you.
So thanks for dialing in, and we'll see you guys next time. Yeah. And be on the lookout. Probably the next video will probably come out on Tuesday. I think I got to work on it tomorrow. There's a couple more things I got to do. After I get home from work, I'll finish it off, and I'll set it up to come out on Tuesday after midnight. So be on the lookout for that one, and we will see you all later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.